Get the horns ready. Hey, you. Welcome back to another episode of the Bamboo Season Podcast. I'm your host, Sober Wellness Coach Dorian Wormsley, the podcast where you will hear real stories from real people to help you achieve real growth. My guests and I share our stories, authentic and raw, given to you straight. Before we hop into today's guest, we got some special celebration. We have officially hit, you and me, 500 subscribers on YouTube. Let's go! I want to hold that note like Mariah Carey. I appreciate you for tuning in, whether it's your first time or you're returning subscriber. 500 subscribers. It's taken consistency. It's taken a lot of guests and conversations. And I want you to hear this and be inspired to continue or start your podcast and understand it won't happen overnight. But if you stay consistent, your tribe will follow you. Your tribe will find you and support you. Do not give up. Get started and keep going. My guest today is well loved across the world, not just Las Vegas, the world. All right, well, she's here. Jackie Harris.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Jackie, how are you today?
Good, great.
I truly appreciate you coming on today's episode. You're a busy woman. You teach a lot. So it's been on my mind to get you on here for a while, and finally your schedule's opened up, and you've blessed us with your presence.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Honored.
Now, for my audience or anybody who doesn't know you, let us know who you are, what you do, and who you help.
Wow, that is a broad question. So my name is Jackie Harris. I am a Pilates instructor here in Las Vegas. Before teaching Pilates, I was in the makeup world for 15 years. I was a manager for MAC Cosmetics and now have been in the Pilates world for like 10 years here in Las Vegas. And who I help, my goal is to help every single person that I'm able to touch each and every day, set the intention in the morning of how I want to choose to show up in my spaces and try my best to make sure that every single person feels seen, valued, heard, appreciated for their time. I know they could be a lot of different places, and if they choose to take my class, that's 50 minutes that they're dedicating to the space that I'm in. So I want to make sure that to make that count and make them feel special for the time that they're there.
Woo! Well said. Now, I just asked that question in the beginning, just so audience can get a broad idea of who you are, what you do, and then as we talk, we'll uncover some things, because I know you're more than what you just expressed. One thing I try to work on myself is making sure I don't identify what I do with who I am.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because I feel like a lot of people in the world, they do a specific job or have a specific title, and you ask them, what do you do? Or who are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm this.
Yep.
No,
I did go straight there, didn't I?
And it's okay. It's what we're used to doing.
Yeah.
And I learned this as I remember I went to my first networking event. It was through the Chamber of Commerce, and I didn't like it because I went and every person you met, oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
And then I'll catch myself doing the same thing. And once you meet somebody and they tell you what they do and it has nothing to do with anything you kind of need to be connected to, you kind of dismiss them or you box them in.
Okay.
Like, okay, you're a fitness coach. I don't need a fitness coach right now, or I don't need to talk to you, or I don't, and I'd rather learn, who are you? Like, what do you like to do? Where are you from? That's why I'm very curious and nosy. Like, I ask people a lot of questions.
Yeah, you do. I love it,
which makes sense for this, and because then once you get to know somebody on a deeper level or who they really are, a lot of what they do starts to make sense.
Yeah.
They might see Jackie, oh my God, this very uplifting, loving, fun Pilates instructor. That's not exactly all she is. There's a reason she's that person. There's things she went through or things she had to overcome to get her to that position. There was something I was going to say. I said a lot. Well, I appreciate you coming on again because I met you through the Pilates studio.
Yeah.
And you are one of my first Pilates classes in a sense. And just the way you made me feel welcome, how good you are at teaching.
Thank you.
That's what I'm going to tell you right now. The way you teach, whoo, it's fun. It doesn't feel like a Pilates class. And what I mean is, no disrespect to the instructors, but you don't have that Pilates voice. Like, you don't sound like how a lot of the other Pilates people sound. You sound like you.
Yeah.
It's very distinct. The way you coach us through movements, and you make it fun, and you make everybody feel capable. I think is very important.
Yeah. I think a lot of the reason everything that you just said is the reason that you feel that way when you're taking one of my classes is because I know what it's like to feel the opposite. I keep hitting this.
That's okay.
I'm going to move it just a little. Can you still hear me?
Pull it down.
Pull it down. Okay. I talk with my hands a lot.
That's fine.
So, I know what it's like to be in a space and not feel that, to not feel welcomed, to not feel seen, to not feel valued. And it doesn't feel great, right? So like, you know, when you are picking a space to spend your time, and especially if it's something that's like new or uncomfortable for you, you feel vulnerable walking in, right? And the last thing that feels good is when you walk in and nobody says anything to you. You're not greeted, you're not welcomed. You don't know what's going on. No one's giving you guidance. And that sets the tone for how you experience the rest of the class, right? Like, so for me, it's always been important to be intentional about how I show up and how I make other people feel. And that's not just in the world of like Pilates, that trickles into everything else that I do in my life. Like I set that intention for every space that I walk into. You know what I mean? Like I try to, if I can, right? I try to shift and shape the rooms that I walk into by like doing that everywhere I go, greeting people, saying hello, taking the time to like, hey, what's your name? Same thing you said. Like I take the time to ask questions because I want to get to know you. That's important to me because then it's like people can take a breath, like feel like they can relax, and it doesn't feel disingenuous. It feels like you can be wholeheartedly a little bit more yourself, be a little bit more present, warm up a little bit, and then hopefully that allows other people to feel like they can do that as well.
I love everything you just said. As a fellow instructor of fitness, I've been doing it for a couple of years now. That's always been my angle.
Yeah.
Is making people feel important.
Yeah. You do that. You greet people.
Yeah.
You know people's names. I've taken your class.
Yeah.
I pay attention to
I don't
those
know how
details.
I've gotten good with names, and just my memory's been great. But you said it, the way you put it was very important, because I just know how it feels to be an outcast and how to feel unsure. And when I do instruct classes, I make sure I don't just talk to the most athletic or knowing person. I still give them attention, but you got to really touch that person at the back who's unsure if they belong there, if they should even be there. Is this for them? You can probably sense their confidence isn't the highest. You got to go in there and stretch that arm out and make them like, yeah, we need you. We need you in here also. And I learned that through working at Orange Theory, because I've worked there since 2019 as a front desk and then as a coach. And in there, you see every shape, size, demographic in the world. Moms, dads, sisters, black, white, Asian, big, small, athletic, never worked out in their life. And if you want them to be helped, as people say they're in fitness, you want to help somebody, those are the ones you got to figure out how do I get Jackie to come back tomorrow?
Yeah.
If I spark conversation with her, because there's people who come to my class for the first time at Orange Theory, not Pilates. And sometimes I don't have them do exactly what we're doing that day. Sometimes I just have them do the easiest thing, just walk the treadmill or whatever, and get to know them. Like, what brought you today? You have kids? What do you do for work? Try to find a nugget or something I can connect with them. Yeah. And I always find one, always something. I like that movie. Or, I love Red Hot Chili Peppers too. Or one person told me, I was very disappointed. I've known her for 5-6 years. I can say her name. She's an amazing woman. She takes my class. She told me she didn't like Jim Carrey. Yeah. I made a joke over the microphone in my group fitness class about Jim Carrey in a movie. I think me, myself, and Irene, she looked at me. She was like, I lost respect for you. I hate Jim Carrey. I was like, damn it, girl. You were one of my favorite people. How do you hate Jim Carrey?
Yeah. What was her response to that?
She doesn't like Jim Carrey. She doesn't like Will Ferrell. Her sense of humor, if she has one, doesn't exist. I don't know. She's a great woman. No, she's a great woman. We have that kind of rapport.
Yeah.
Which I love too, is when I find those people who I can shoot the shit with sometimes, and we have that banter, and Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's great.
I think so. When you think about it, he had a crazy run of movies. The Mask, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, Me, Myself, and it was like a cool 6-7 years where it was just boom, 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 boom.
Did you ever listen to he did like an actual speech like not too long ago, I feel like. And it was more motivational where he talked about life versus like, the funny guy that we're used to seeing. Did you ever
Possibly.
watch that?
Possibly.
If you didn't, you should.
I've seen a couple of him these more recent years, his interviews of him just speaking about life.
Yeah.
And just being a human. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
And back to what I said, we sometimes box people into a certain area.
Yeah.
He's a comedian, funny actor. There's no way we can talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was a season of his life or something to make money, and his passion of what he liked to do doesn't mean exactly who he is.
And I think our seasons are constantly evolving, right? Like you're not the same person you were 10 years ago today, right? Like that was a season of our life, and hopefully we grow and learn from all of those seasons. Like I think that's what we're here to do, is to learn from the lessons, right? They teach us something about ourselves. Maybe it's something that's uncomfortable that we don't like, that we want to change. And I think it's important to be present enough within ourselves to be able to like face those things, the uncomfortable stuff that we don't like, to be able to be like, okay, how do I move past this, or how do I grow from this? I think a lot of people struggle with sometimes the looking in the mirror at the things that we see that are hard to face, and we tend to mask that with like other things, right? Like, hey, I don't like that about myself. So instead of like dealing with it or trying to figure out why don't I like that? Why is that there? What caused that to be there? What did I deal with in my life that brought that into my life, that caused that pattern or that behavior to happen? Then you really can sit with it, and then you can move past it. I think people have a hard time sometimes doing that. Do you feel like that?
100%.
Yeah.
As someone who's went through some of the ugliest, hardest things of life, and it's crazy to think in my head, what else could happen that could make me feel already that I already went through. It reminds me, it just came to mind. It reminds me of, have you seen Bad Santa?
Yeah. Who's in that?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yes, it's very.
So there's a scene where he's eating his salad on his lunch break, and the lady comes up to him with their kid. She's like, "Oh, my son wants a picture," and he was like, "I'm on my damn lunch break." And she's like, "I'm gonna report you to HR." He was like, "If you think you can make my life worse, take a shot. Go ahead."
Yeah.
So that scene plays in my head when I think about life. Like, I've already been through so much hardship and trauma and just challenging things.
Yeah.
So where now I'm grateful for it, because now when things don't go the best way I would like, I can understand and handle it because I've been through some dark moments already.
So when you say understand and handle it, what does that look like from your perspective, just out of curiosity?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Accepting things for what they are, not what I feel like they should be or need to be. And that's pretty much it. I just accept things, like whatever it is. I'm trying to get better at allowing my emotions to be present, because going through all those hardships in life, I had to learn to build armor. I had to learn to keep going. There's no time to cry. There's no time to feel bad for myself. I got to just shield up, go on to the next thing.
Okay.
Which is great initially, and it works to a certain point.
Right.
But then when I get into working for myself or into relationships, whether that's romantic or friends, I got to learn to bring that armor down, in a sense, to allow the people in so I can grow as a man emotionally.
Right.
Because then if I'm emotionally more in tune, I can start reaching more people and having more compassion and more understanding for the others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Has it been easy for you to let the armor down, or do you feel like it always kind of lives
It's
there?
up and down.
Yeah.
Because I'm very open and vulnerable to a certain degree. But I know I do it, but I know where to cut the line.
What do you mean, like boundaries? Is that what you mean?
Kinda.
Okay.
Like I can open up and lead a conversation. I've gotten good at it to where I'll know where to cut something off, what I'm saying or sharing, so that that person doesn't come too close. I'll let you get here. But once you get right there, okay, I've gotten good at just shifting the conversation or making sure it doesn't get there. And not purposeful. I don't go in my mind thinking, oh, Jackie's coming. I can't. Nope. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna hit him over the walls are here.
Just a defense mechanism
Yeah.
that I've built. And I've gotten to a point where I understand I need to give myself the space to move towards that more emotional side of letting that tough armor come down.
Yeah.
Because I needed it for my whole life up until maybe 30.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have that when I was growing up the way I did. It was survival mode. And it's getting better now, but that armor's kept me alive for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's still good to have. But like I said, what got you here won't get you there.
Doesn't always take you to the next
No.
phase. I can relate in a different way. Like I had from an early age, I had kind of an interesting start to life.
When you say interesting, what do you mean?
My real father struggled with alcohol and he had, you know, I want to start by saying this. Like I feel like he was a very good example of like how he was brought up, not facing the trauma that he dealt with. And so that trauma that he faced bled into the next portion of his life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like some people do the best that they can with what they're dealt with, and they don't really. Some people have a harder time facing it to move forward in a new light. And I think he was one of those people. And, you know, so early on, my mom is a very strong-willed woman, and thank God for that, because, you know, some of the things that she had to face and deal with, and also having kids in that kind of toxic environment was not easy. And so as a young kid, I was very, how can I shrink? How can I be as like small as possible to not be seen, so that I don't ruffle the feathers, because you never knew what you were going to walk into from an energy perspective. How is he going to be? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of my younger life was like, I want to be small, and which is so weird, because if you think of me now, that's not really, you wouldn't think about that. But I shrunk a lot when I was little. And then thank goodness, my stepdad came into my life when I was 8. So pretty young. And he is one of the like most amazing humans on the face of the planet. He's like to this day, he's the guy who changed our lives. And he was 9 years younger than my mom, and she had 2 kids, and she was getting divorced, and he came into the picture. And all I can think about, what's funny is like, you know, everybody has a different perspective of their childhood. Like me and my brother will talk about it, and he'll be like, I don't remember that. And I'll be like, how do you not remember that? You know, but like, and then my dad will be like, man, I was just trying to live and do the best I could for you guys. And to me, it was like his best, or the best that he could do, was like everything. He built zip line in our backyard. We'd play hide and go seek in the dark. It was all about experiences and being together, and that creating that connection that hadn't been there, because there was so much disconnect and anger and fighting and chaos in the house before him. It was so amazing to shift that in a new light. And he was really the person that, you know, created for me the most long-lasting lessons that I learned, because he was somebody who was able to, as I was growing up, you know, I was an asshole teenager at times, right? I think we all are, right? Like we make poor choices, we do things, we're learning. And he was always the one that, instead of being emotional when he was communicating with me about things that I needed to learn, he would really get down and have a conversation with me. And it never felt like I needed to put up a wall or a barrier. It felt like I just needed to listen and hear. And I think sometimes that's really hard, especially being a step parent, right? Like it's not always easy to navigate those conversations, but he was always the one that I felt the most connected to the way that he spoke to me and how he helped me see things in a new light and how he helped me see how that approach that I was having was causing a negative impact on others around me, and how if I didn't want to do that, then I needed to make a change. And so he has helped guide me from the time I was 8 till now. I still reach out to him to ask him for questions about things on how to, hey, what would you do in this situation? And he gives me great advice and listens and really like is present. So, you know, I got lucky on that end that the beginning of my life shifted in that way. But I will say that, you know, from my early childhood, you don't realize how things stick with you sometimes, right? Like, even though I had that amazing shift and I had somebody come in who really channeled such love and compassion and consistency for being present, I still had this other start to life that kind of made me go like this, where you're like holding almost. And my real father's love was really contingent on me looking a certain way or doing things. So from him, I learned a lot of like, love is based on what you do for other people. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And I became like a big people pleaser in life. Like I was, and always with the wrong people. It's the weirdest thing. It was always the people that I could never get love from. I like kept searching for it. I'm like, God, why can't I? You know what I mean? Oh, if I do more, they're gonna like me better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm now, Monday is my birthday. I turned 44. And it just hit me in my 40s where I finally had this correlation that I was like, man, why is it that I get anxiety from the people that, like, they're never going to love me. They're always, it's like, they don't care, right? But I'm constantly seeking their approval. What is that? And then I fucking realized it. I was like, okay, this comes from my dad, right? Like that relationship that I had, that love that was based on me doing things or me being a certain way, but not, it's all for looks. It was all for show. It wasn't really real, if that makes sense. And I don't think that he, I think if you asked him, I don't think that he would say that. I think he would say, of course I love you, but as the person on the reciprocating end of that, how that felt to me was that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my 40s, I finally had this revelation about like, okay, I don't need to do more for these people that I don't necessarily even like who they are as humans. I recognize that as a pattern that had been a part of my life since I was young that I never addressed or never was aware why that was there. But it was a struggle, man. I had somebody, Gibson. You know Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's amazing. She's a life coach. And she was like, we would have conversations and she would pull out certain things when we would talk. And I was like, I just started having all these epiphanies. I was like, okay. And having revelations about certain bad patterns that I had in my life and why they were still there. And then once you recognize it, you're able to then see it when it comes up again and go, okay, that's what that is. I don't need to feed into that. I don't need to go there. It's coming up because it's somebody who's triggering that inside of me, but it doesn't mean that I need to give that life. I can like let that go and move forward. That was a moment.
That
I had a moment.
That's good. That's what this is for. This is for those moments, for you to have your TED Talk moment and because people see you for 50 minutes a day.
Yeah.
They probably seen you 50 minutes a day for years.
Yeah.
But never knew more of who you were or what you've done or even anything you just shared.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably a handful where you have relationships outside of the Pilates room and they need to hear it. You know, it's gonna make them love you even more. It's gonna make you understand even more. Maybe they're going through something similar, especially the people pleasing. I think that might be the new buzzword of the year of 2026 or whatever. It's a lot of people are starting to realize that's who they were. I like seeing it when people are able to acknowledge it and they're working to get out of it.
Yeah.
And no, I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad I'm not one of those people because I'll cut people off. Like, don't I ain't pleasing nobody. Get on my face.
Yeah.
Something you mentioned that I like is how you had a conversation with Gibson and she was able to pull those things out of you.
Yeah.
What I love about that is, and I want other people to take that with them, is to get those kind of people around you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, and if you don't, then go get the coach, life coach or therapist, because you need people around you who are going to want to talk to you more about just, oh, what are you doing for dinner? Or what'd you do?
Like the bare,
just the bare surface level conversations. Like sometimes that's needed.
Right. Totally.
But if you want to have a true depth with your friends, at some point, it's more than just Pilates and matcha.
Right.
At some point, you got to just have a do nothing day and just
connect.
Yeah. Don't interrogate.
Yeah.
But ask questions. Get to really know that person outside of the fitness, outside of the get-togethers, outside of the girls' nights, the homie nights. Like, start asking why.
The roots.
The roots, yeah. And ask those questions that make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's okay. On the flip side, be okay with that.
Right.
Like if somebody's asking you some deep personal question, that's showing a sense of care. They're trying to get in there. Like they're trying to see about Jackie. They're trying to see Dorian outside of what we see on social media, what we see in the Pilates room.
Right.
So shout out to Gibson for that. And for
she's
you
awesome. Yeah.
being somebody that can receive that.
My family, I'm really lucky that I have a family that is like that. And I think that, my brother's in the fitness world too. He is a trainer.
Nice.
He works with a lot of professional athletes. Sugar Sean O'Malley, he's a strength and conditioning coach. He has
Is he here in Vegas, your brother?
No, he's in Scottsdale. But
nice. Scottsdale's a good.
He has the Higher Human podcast. Is his podcast.
Nice. Shout him out.
And my family is really good at not doing the bare basic conversations. Like we really get to the root, like we talk, you know, like we go there. We're not afraid. And my stepdad is really like that. So like my brother got to see a man who's not afraid to be emotional, not afraid to be vulnerable and really talk. You know, I think sometimes that's hard for men. He had a very also like, you know, his childhood was not great. But again, if it's like one of those things, like I had my stepdad who had a very troubled childhood and he was able to shift his life. He gives my mom a lot of credit for that, which my mom is really good at, you know, she doesn't give a shit about a lot of people. That might sound bad. She's not
I like that. I like your mom already.
She's not a people person, so to speak, but she is very honest. You know, if you're somebody who gets uncomfortable with honesty, she is not for you because she's the person that will like ask you those things to make you look and face, you know what I mean? And she, I think, helped my dad, my papa. And then I have my real dad who came from a struggled life, but wasn't able to go there. You know, it's like some people, it's like we all have, I don't know if you remember this poem about Robert Frost, about the two different paths, one of them being really pretty and one of them being rocky. Do you remember this poem? I might be saying this wrong, but
it don't matter. Just go with where you're going.
Yeah. Tell us. From how I remember the poem, it's like you can go down a path that's really pretty, you know, and it leads you to this destination, but what did you learn, right? Or you can go down this rocky path and face a lot of things and have a lot of struggles and a lot of obstacles, right? And get to maybe the same destination, but have a completely different perspective, right? Have learned a lot along the journey. And that's kind of how I view people is like, we have, we can have similar experiences, but based on how we choose to perceive and move forward, we're going to have completely different journeys along the road, right? Like, and everybody has their own journey, right? No one's is the same. I don't mean to say it like that, but I mean to say you can have people who have struggled with the same similar things, but they end up in very different places just because of how they choose to face shit. Some people want to face it, and it's not easy and it's hard. And some people don't want to look at it at all, and they just want to and pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Tying back to what you said or asked me earlier of, would you ask me of how I, what did you ask me earlier?
A lot of stuff. I don't know.
You asked me something about how I pretty much mentioned how I accept things for what they are.
Yeah.
And when I go through the hardships, similar to what you just said, is something, I don't know how it got into me at a young age, but that is how I see things with everything I went through.
Yeah.
I think of it because it all made sense now as I'm an older adult. Now I'm 34, and then I'm around other older adults, and I kind of have an idea of their background. Maybe I don't, but I see how they handle stress.
Yeah.
I see how they handle tough situations.
Yeah.
I see how they break down or they panic and for me, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm not, tripping a little bit, but because of everything I went through, it gave me the experience of life to understand when something else hard comes up. Okay, we've been here before.
Right.
I got that experience. Like you said, I learned. Unfortunately, falling out of a 4-story window. I learned. And I didn't learn. It took me, 7 years before I finally gave up drinking. Like, I still drank and I still blacked out. But even through that, I learned.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't take it back for the world, knowing I went through that hardship.
To get to where you are now.
To get where I'm at now,
Yeah.
because now I can talk about it and people can hear it. And I was thinking about this to myself recently, like, the reason I like to tell my story so much, especially when it comes to drinking, I don't push sobriety.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it. I'm supporting, but I'm not like, you have to be sober. Your life's going to, no, there's people who have drinks and they're good. But I want you to hear my story to understand if you're drinking at an unhealthy level, you might not be as lucky as I was and make it from 4-story fall.
Right.
You might get so, I see it sometimes on social media now, people my age, 34, or in that era are still getting blacked out. And I'm like, please get it together, because I blacked out and I almost died. You might black out your next time drinking. You ain't gonna make it. You might get paralyzed. You might lose somebody. You might lose yourself in a bad way. And that's why I like to share my stories so people can see. It might seems good. It might be funny. Oh my God, I was so drunk. All right. You might not wake up next time and be able to post anything.
And I don't know if this seems relevant to you, but like, I feel like a lot of times there's like, and maybe this isn't always the case, but there's a reason for that level of drinking. There's something in your life that you don't want to face or deal with or address. And it's easier to numb it than to look at it. I had, it's really sad, but I had a cousin die at 30 from alcohol. He literally had his liver, his kidneys, everything shut down at 30 years old. And, I wasn't close with him. I didn't really, he lived in Georgia. I grew up in Arizona. Like, we didn't really know each other. But towards the end of his life, he started reaching out to me through social media. And I just remember being like, something about him feels like he needs help or something, so I would like talk to him and then next thing you know, like, he passed away, and I was like, man, I wish I could have, I wish I would have known from alcohol. His liver, his kidneys, his body shut down from I don't know, drinking too much.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, that can happen. I have one of my friends' husband has cirrhosis, and he's only 40 years old, and they're going through a divorce, a difficult time. And I've known him a very long time. And he's been somebody who's always been, holds the emotions inside, doesn't know how to communicate the things that he feels. And I think that when you don't allow yourself to let shit out, I think that festers and causes a lot of internal problems, a lot of mental health things, um, a lot of reasons to not, if you can't choose to show up and talk and like, hey, I'm struggling. This is why, like, or maybe you don't even really know how to face it because you're not really sure. I think some people even block shit out. Like they're just like, it didn't even happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. I know for me, back to what you said about you think something is going on deeper for people to drink at the level they do.
Yeah.
100%. It's crazy because I used to ask myself this when I would go black out and get drunk. I used to think like, why do I drink to this level? Because my goal and purpose wasn't to have a good time.
Yeah.
It was to get blacked out. Like
to not feel.
That was my goal. Yeah. To not feel, to not be to try to be somebody else. I used to love the feeling of just that liquid courage and being I don't know if I was an entirely different person, but I just enjoyed it. I looked forward to it, especially when I started mixing Adderall. So I would take that. Yeah. So I'll do Adderall and Jameson were my combos. And I would take the Adderall. I got so good at it that's crazy to say good at it. That I knew how to time my Adderall and my whole drinking was a process. Like if I know I'm drinking that night, all right, taking the first half Adderall at 5:30.
Would you drink every day? Just out of curiosity.
No, I wasn't drinking every day.
Okay.
Every weekend almost.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't an everyday drinker, but I was a binger for 2-3 days straight.
Okay.
Take my Adderall like at 4:35. It has like a 4-hour half-life. So then that'll get me going. 7 o'clock, start drinking. Take the next Adderall, 10 o'clock. Early enough to where it doesn't keep me up all night.
Yeah.
But it still has an effect throughout the night. And then just drink. And the only thing that sucked was with the Adderall and the liquor, it makes you feel like you're not that drunk. So you continue to drink.
Oh.
You don't feel like you're that drunk. You feel good. So then you continue to drink more than you probably should. You're not drinking water. You're dehydrated. Those would be my worst hangovers. Wake up the next morning, hungover, hurt. How do you get rid of a hangover?
Drink.
You keep drinking. So then now I'm on 2 days straight. And then I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. Got to do brunch. You got to. It's Sunday. Mimosas. Let's go. Bottomless. Do my bottomless mimosas. I remember one time I went to, here in Vegas, Parkway Tavern. They had bottomless mimosas for $18. At this point in my life, me and my friends are always trying to find the most you can get for the least amount of money. So we're like 10 to 2, $18. We could throw them back. Let's go.
$18 to drink for
bottomless mimosas. Yeah.
Oh, and champagne.
Yeah.
And orange juice.
And it was probably cheap. So we would go.
Oh, headache.
$18. It starts at 10. I'd be there at 9:55. Drink that. I remember one time we went at 10 a.m. We drank until 2. They stopped. At this point, we're toasted. So then we start taking shots. Next thing you know, I just remember being in the bar and all of a sudden everybody in the crowd is saying, "Go Knights, go." I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 p.m. The game's about to come on. We've been here for 6-7 hours drinking.
Yeah.
Good times.
So let me ask you, because you did say that you would drink to black out, but like, what was there a reason that was the motive for you? Like, what did you feel like you were trying to numb something, or is there something in your life that you?
Yeah, I think for me, kind of ties back to what you said earlier about people blocking things out. For a good amount of time, I blocked out that I had fell from a 4-story window. Like
you drank after you fell from the 4-story?
Oh yeah, the story I just told you is after.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I fell a 4-story window, 2014.
Okay.
I stopped drinking for about a year and a half because I was on probation and I couldn't.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I didn't drink. Once I got off probation in 2017, I went right back to it hard. I was at Coachella drinking. This is when I started popping the Adderall and all of that. I went hard. During that time period, I tried to not block out that I fell from a 4-story window, but there was a lot of embarrassment.
Okay.
Because it's like you drink so much that you almost died. Like I felt embarrassed that was my reality. Like, how can you, that's so stupid. That's what was in my head. So I never told anybody. If they asked about it, I would tell them, yeah, I fell from a 4-story window. And when they would ask why or what, I would say, oh, I blacked out. I didn't tell like a full description of what happened. I kind of kept it vague because there was some still embarrassment. But even after I fell out a 4-story window, my best friend died. And then I was in the hospital grieving. And then I went to jail. It was just a year of just bam, 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 bam. Like, okay, life shit.
The universe trying to say, hey,
something.
Like,
and I didn't listen because even after all that, I went back to drinking and kept drinking for another 7 years after the accident, you know, and until I finally was tired of it. But I think when I think back on it, I think a lot of it was I didn't really like who I was. I didn't have all the confidence as though I portrayed. I didn't really like that I was back at my mom, sleeping on her couch, didn't really have a job, didn't have no destination of what I wanted to do in life. I was just out. And what I've learned is what kind of sucks about having the kind of personality I do of outgoing, charismatic, and people might perceive or think not to worry about you.
Okay.
Not saying there's anything to worry about with me at the time, but I was lost, dude. I was lost in the sauce. I had no idea what I was doing with my life, what I wanted to do. I had no aspirations for anything besides drink and find women. That was my goal. Like liquor, find a woman to hook up with. That was my MO. And it worked for a long time until I just started to feel so empty.
Is that what triggered you to make the change? Like, what was the turning point for you where you went from that feeling that sadness or lost inside to being able to see that, or were you able to see that? Like, what led to you ultimately like turning that page?
So if I could think back on it, every time I get asked things like this, I like to think and see if there's even a little more that opens up. Sometimes the more I think about it, it opens up even deeper.
Yeah.
I think one of the first things, if I could think back now as where I'm at as an adult, I think in 2018, even though I was at the height of my drinking still, there was a gentleman named Max. Shout out to my man Max. He hired me at Orange Theory. And I worked as a front desk. And as I'm working their front desk, I was like, man, I could probably do this, you know, like and be a trainer. So then I do my certification process and all that. And once I got hired and I moved to Phoenix, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I was coaching at the Arcadia studio.
Okay.
So Arcadia, Central Arizona, and there was another location I taught at. I forgot. There was 3 locations. But anywho, once I started coaching and I got a feel for things, I was like, damn.
Let you up a little, huh?
Yeah. I was like, I'm getting paid to be me.
Yeah.
My energy, my voice, my kind of music, if I want to put it. And I'm in here getting paid for it. That was like the first kind of maybe seed of like, this is where I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. I was still drinking and everything. COVID happened. I drink even more. When I first moved to Arizona, I moved there January 2020. Within the first month, I got so drunk one night, maybe 2 months. I got so drunk one night, I didn't show up for my classes to teach. And this is like a month in. I'm new. I'm panicking.
Yeah.
Because I never been given an opportunity. I had a job making this amount of money. So I'm like, fuck, I'm about to lose my job. I remember waking up and I look at my phone. It has so many missed calls. It was like maybe 3 classes out of 5 that I'm missing right now. And I didn't know what to do. And I made up the dumbest lie ever. I was like, yeah, I showed up. The 3rd class is like midway. And they were like, oh, so-and-so covered it. You can just go. We'll talk later. And I know they can smell the Jameson on me. So the dumbest lie that I gave, I was like, well, I was out last night and I left my phone in my Uber and my alarm didn't go off. So all morning I've been trying to get a hold of the Uber to find my phone. That was the excuse I gave. They wrote me up and everything. I don't think they believed the story, but they took it, wrote me up, and they were just like, you know, you gotta make changes, this and this and this. And that's where I was like, dude, you about to lose your job over alcohol? And then time fast forward, Working at Orange Theory again, now in Vegas. This is for my 30th birthday, so 2021. And I remember 2 weeks before my birthday, I had requested off. I went out to Arizona. I got so drunk and everything, I kept requesting off Mondays because every Monday I had a hangover and I couldn't teach. And then one Monday they called me in. They're like, what's going on? And I just lied. I was like, oh, no, nothing's going on. I'm just, blah, blah, blah. I've been having anxiety. I didn't say it was from the alcohol, but I was like, I've been having bad anxiety, just couldn't coach. Like, okay, well, it keeps happening. We have to let you go. And I'm like, bro, again? And I'm starting to slowly realize the pattern I'm having.
Yeah.
Fast forward maybe a year now. I'm working for myself. I canceled on a few clients on a Saturday. Like, oh, I'm sick. We ain't training today. And I have an honest conversation with myself. I'm like, this person is paying you X amount of money. All you have to do is show up for them. But you're too busy getting drunk, so drunk that you can't even show up. What are you doing? I had that honest conversation with myself, and I was like, that's it. I'm done with this. Like, I'm in a position now where people are trusting me and paying me. Having a trainer is not cheap.
No, yeah.
They're trusting me. Women at that, like, who are scared and nervous to go to the gym, they're trusting you to help them. But you're not even showing up because of alcohol. Back to falling out the 4-story window because of alcohol.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. That you're a loser. I had to face that honesty with myself. You're a fucking loser. Get it together. I was like, well, how am I going to do this? I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing boot camps every Saturday, 7 a.m. Because now, if people are expecting me to show up 7 a.m., I got to show up. If not, I'm going to have a reputation as an inconsistent, unreliable trainer. And I don't want that. Vegas is small. The fitness world is small. Once you get the reputation, it's going to flow around. Nobody's going to want to work with you. And that hosting 7 a.m. boot camps, the end of 2021, was the start of me chipping away at drinking. Because if I can't drink Friday because I got to be there Saturday morning. Saturday night, I'll probably drink. But it helped me cut down from a 2-3 day bender to just a 1 day. And then it kept going and going. And then I went to a music festival end of December of 2021. And in 3 days, I spent like $600 on liquor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I got back, another honest conversation. Are you serious? $600? But you're complaining about spending money on things that are going to help you, on some coaching, on some this. And that was it. Threw in the towel. Cold turkey. I was like, this is it. And here we are 4 years later.
That's amazing though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's hard. It's hard to say those things and to have those conversations with yourself. Like, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to face that. And the fact that you were able to look at your life in that way and be like, is this the life that I want for myself? Or do I want to be the person that people can rely on? Do I want to be the person that's showing up for these people, like, and giving my best self? Because it's hard to be your best self if you don't feel your best, right? I've been there in a different way. Well, no, I mean,
Tell us.
Yeah. I mean, during COVID, I had already been teaching, but I've been teaching very part-time, like 1 day a week. I had a corporate job. I'd had that job for a really long time, had been very miserable. Loved a lot of what I did because I really love people and I love coaching people. And a big part of what I was doing.
There's a logo. I don't know. I don't want any. They're not sponsoring us. So no.
Yeah. No, I get it. I was in this kind of place where before COVID happened, I remember having a conversation with myself in the car and I was like, God, I wish that like the world would just shut down. It's so weird to say that, but like, I didn't know how to, I was really scared to make a change. I've always been somebody who's been, kind of, you get comfortable and you're used to something and you know it, you're good at it, but like, it doesn't fuel you. I had done it for so long. It wasn't fueling me anymore. It was like, the politics of the corporate world, I fucking hated. I could never get on board with it. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought that so many of the things that they did were so fucking stupid. I don't know how to say that any nicer, but like, we would have conference calls and it would just literally be to hear somebody talk. And I'd be like, wow, this is such a waste of my time. Like, I could be doing so many other things, but yet I'm sitting here. You've sent me literally an email about all of this stuff. So I have this in a PDF form. I could read this, but I have to sit here for 2 hours to listen to you read the fucking shit to me. Like, what is happening? So I really had a really hard time with a lot of the stuff that world was doing, but I loved the people. I loved helping people, I think was the biggest part. Like, I loved the artistry. I loved helping people learn. I loved helping people develop and evolve. I loved seeing potential in people and helping pull that out in them. But I really wasn't happy. And it was like I was like making me sick. Like, I was having a lot of anxiety all the time. And COVID hit and I was like drinking and eating and I fucking gained so much weight during COVID. Like, it was wild. Like, you would think like, hey, this is opportunity, like, do better. Like, I just did the opposite. Like, I gained all this weight. I was drinking literally like wine every day because we didn't have anything to do. So we were just sitting in the house. I'm like, but that's when I actually started helping Jess and Nikki, who are the owners of Sunday. I started helping them manage. And through that, I was able to leave my job during COVID and then come into the Pilates world full time. So I left during COVID. But I stepped into that role of now being this Pilates instructor and also helping manage to their studios and their spaces. And I was like, at my biggest weight, I was like, I felt like the worst in my body and my spirit, my soul. Like, I just didn't feel, but I'm really good at, even if I feel that way, I can like hide it really well,
Yeah.
So you never would have guessed that. You never would have entered my classroom and felt like, wow, she doesn't feel like, a good version of herself. But I did. I felt like I had imposter syndrome because I was like, I'm training people to be fit and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I was dealing with all these internal demons from that. Like, yeah. And so then that was really hard to make changes. It was like, not like, I don't know, as you get older, it's really hard to lose weight. like it just is. So, I gave up drinking. I haven't drank now. It's like been 3.5 years.
Let's go.
Yeah. Gave it up fully. Just was like, okay, I don't need this. And then I started becoming aware of like the bad habits that I had, like what was creating this person that I'm not proud of. Let's change this. Let's like make the adjustments. Let's start tracking my food. Let's start, it was never fitness because I had always worked out. It was never that. It was just the other things that I was doing that were not healthy. And I guess like it stemmed from how I was feeling on the inside. Then I just let that be the way I was feeling on the outside as well. And then last year was really the year of me shedding as much of those old patterns as I possibly could to like really level myself up and feel my best. And that's just not like physically, it's like more emotionally, spiritually, all of those things on the inside that then I feel like if you do the work here, it starts to more reflect on the outside because you care enough to change the things that don't make you feel good. So last year was like a really big year for me of like letting go of the people pleasing, letting go of certain habits that I had that weren't, like I would come home and I would late night eat, like before that. Like, I wouldn't eat all day, and then I'd come home and who fucking knows how many calories I would consume because I hadn't eaten in like 6 hours. So I just eat fucking everything, binge eat. And then I feel like shit the next day, so like letting go of all of those things and really being accountable. Like I would say, it's been a long journey. It's been 3.5. It's when I stopped drinking. It's been 3.5 years of me dedicating more and more time to slowly letting go of those things that don't serve me to create changes in the way that I feel internally and externally. And so I think that that's one of the reasons also why I can relate to people who show up in spaces and don't feel, you know what I mean? Like you're like walking in, you feel vulnerable. I felt like that a lot as a teacher showing up. I was like, man, people are going to look at me and be like, who's this fucking girl that's teaching our class? She's a Pilates teacher? Like, that's not what I see. You know what I mean? That's not the visuals of what I see. Like there's so much, especially in the Pilates world, I feel like people have this image in their head. I would get calls all the time from people when I was managing, and people would say, I see Pilates people and they all seem really fit and skinny. Like, is this even something I can do? And it made me so sad because I was like, yes, 100%. Like, you just got to show up, but also knowing that like not every teacher out there creates that safe space for people, right? Like, so it was really important to me to be a part of that, creating a space where people felt, hey, like no matter what, if I don't feel my best, no matter what, I'm showing up for myself. They're showing up for themselves. Like, let's make them feel really seen, valued, appreciated in this space. Right.
With that being said, on the Pilates topic, I want to ask you, in your opinion, since you've been doing it for 10 years and like I said, I love your classes. Your full classes show that everybody else loves your classes. What do you feel are some misconceptions people have when it comes to Pilates?
I think a lot. I think there are a lot of visuals out there that can create a perception that like it's for only a certain body type or a certain person. And really, movement is medicine, and Pilates is such a great form of medicine for people. If you have injuries, if you are struggling in any type of way, like it's low impact, so it's not hard on your joints. It's a great way to get into something that can heal you from the inside out. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot out there that conflicts that, right? Like it's like, oh, it's the hot trend, right? So people, and it is, and it's great. It's so great that Pilates is such a trend right now. I think it's wonderful that people are seeing it and all of its incredible value that it adds to your life. But it truly is for everybody. And so I want people to know that no matter what you're going through, like, give it a shot. It's something that's a little bit more intimate and personal than going to the gym can be scary, right? Like you're walking into a space, if you don't know what to do, that's so intimidating for anyone. Let a teacher guide you, so that you don't have to think too much about creating something on your own. Let somebody who has intention and who knows about the body guide you through movement and allow you to just show up and be present with yourself and your breath and do the best that you can. And I think that, that's always going to be different every day, but just as long as you continue to create the consistency and the habit in your life, I feel like the more positive habits you have, the more you start with one, it's going to build because you start feeling better. Then you want to create more positive habits in your life, right? Like I was like doing all the wrong things and I was like, okay, I'm going to quit drinking. And then I'm going to like pay attention to my nutrition. And like, then I was doing a lot of Pilates and then I was able to add in more movement. And I'm somebody who has injuries. So like I have a herniated disc, I have a degenerative disc disease. I have, no cartilage in my left knee. There's a name for that. we don't need to go there, but like I have a lot of injuries. So when I
Handicap.
was in a heavier body, a lot of fitness didn't feel good. Pilates felt really good. And now that I've been able to get stronger and feel better in the body that I'm in, I'm able to do more. And so just now it's like, I was a girl that was like, I don't run. You have big boobs. I don't have the body for that. I have all these injuries. I don't like that. I don't do that. And then I realized it was the way that I thought about it that was hindering me from doing it. Like I had never tried it even. So like, and Roxanne, my friend who's super fit, always very inspiring, was like, just start little, like go for walks and add a little jog. And I was like, okay, I could do that. Like, and I just had to shift the mindset that I had around it. And then I started jogging. And then now I do tread twice a week. And I do like, I run 3 times a week or 4 times a week, 2 miles a day. Like, but I had to shift. I think what you tell yourself is what you believe. So we create narratives in our head. And then that narrative becomes our life and our story. So if we want to change that, we have to change the way we talk to ourselves and think about it. And then that becomes our new narrative. So if you want to make a change, it starts here first. The body will follow, but you have to start mentally. And then the rest will kind of come into play.
That was good.
Thanks.
As we're going to wrap up here.
Okay.
One thing I want you to touch on is your company or your project you're working on. Be Well with Jackie.
Oh, okay. I have a couple.
Okay. Short-winded.
Short-winded. Okay. So I started a brand. It's been in the making for several years, but I was like nervous to launch it. And last year just felt like a really, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, a lot of negativity. And I wanted to create a brand that stood for more than just like, it's not just a sweatshirt to me. It's about it's about the meaning that means something to me, and to wear that, to represent that, then spreads that. So it's be you, be true, be well. And it's about rising up, being your most authentic self, choosing to challenge yourself, choosing to be the best version of you in every space that you enter. Because I think the more that you do that, the more you elevate those spaces, the more you can inspire those around you to level up and be their best versions. And so that is that brand. More to come this year on that. I'm launching a hat hopefully in like the next month or two. And then also, you'll like this one. Me and Jenny Kim. She is an instructor who I admire like so much. She's amazing. And have you heard School?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a platform called School. We're in the very beginning stages of it, but we've been talking about how do we bridge the gap between what people learn when they're getting certified, and then how do they take that knowledge and actually become great teachers. We think that there's a little bit of a gap there, right? Like, how do they learn how to create flows? How do they cue those flows detailed? So we're going to step into that space and help instructors hopefully become the best versions of themselves within the teaching world, and also create a space on there for enthusiasts who just want to deepen their knowledge about the practice. So that's something to stay tuned for. And one more, Roxanne and I are going to be hosting some wellness retreats this next year. So there's a few things on the books. If you follow me on Instagram, that's the best place to stay tuned for those things. And I just want to say thank you so much for thinking of me to bring me on this podcast. I hope I didn't waste your time. I hope I brought some value to this place.
We're getting rid of the whole episode. Never happened. Thank you for an hour and a half. No.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We're gonna wrap up here. Last thing for you. Last question.
Okay.
What is a quote or mantra you live by? What is it and why?
I say it a lot: strong mind, strong body. And it's because where the mind goes, the body follows. And it has to start internally. You have to start with the thoughts, the beliefs, the narratives. You have to change it. And I was somebody who really had a lot of negative self-talk. That's one of the things that I've had to shift and shape over the past few years. I've really had to like pay attention to what I'm saying to myself. Really nice to everybody on the outside. I was not nice to myself in the way that I talked to myself. So strong mind came from I needed to be more resilient and more kind and graceful in the way that I talk to myself so that I could then show up and really dedicate the other aspects of my life and feeling whole on the inside and moving fluidly and whole on the outside in all the things that I do.
Good job, Jackie.
You're like quiet. I was like, what is happening?
I
You're just staring at me.
appreciate you and your soul for making it here today after a whole day of teaching. I know how it is teaching, and it's a lot of talking, a lot of music, a lot of energy, but you still showed up today like you're fresh out of bed. I appreciate you. I'll see you
Monday
in Pilates class.
Oh, no, I'm not there. It's my birthday. I'm taking it off.
Dude, stop trying to take time for you and think about us. Like, what? No, I can't go Monday. Thanks. I'm just kidding. But I'm sure I'll see you soon and take your class. I will tag her. I was waiting for you to switch the camera to me. I will tag her Instagram in the description of this podcast. Please go check her out on her Instagram. I don't know what day this is coming out, but still go tell her happy birthday. What day is your birthday?
Monday, the 19th.
The 19th. MLK Day. Hey, yeah. BLM, let's go. Martin Luther King Day. That's why she's taking the day off. And yeah, go show her love. She's one of the best Pilates teachers here in Las Vegas. Her and Jenny Kim. Oh, Jenny Kim, man. She's so hard and
she's so good,
so
right?
nice and sweet, but then she makes you do all this hard shit. Love you, Jenny.
She's amazing. We love you, Jenny.
All right. Lasting words. I'm going to leave you with a word. Seed of the day. If you want a new life, tell yourself a new story. Stop saying you cannot do something and start asking yourself, why not you? Why can't you be the one to do it? You can be the outlier. Change the game. Belief, baby. 2 words. Keep growing. It's the only option. Only option. 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 I was waiting for you to close out. Option. Option.